Steve, it's great to have you and your wife, Michelle, down here in Puerto Rico.
Thank you, Paul.
Your first trip down, huh?
Yes, first time here. We love the resort. Scared of the beach.
You had yourself your own Uber driver.
We did.
Franco.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, what was your first impression of the Mexican when he picked you guys up at the airport? That's what I'd like to know.
He's quite unique, for sure. Colorful, refreshing.
Yeah?
Yes. He's just,
Funny.
As my husband, he speaks whatever he thinks. Just no filter, I guess. But I like that.
So you weren't patently offended at dinner last night?
No.
No. Okay.
He
all
loves
good.
a few words.
It's,
Yes. Everyone struggles to understand him, but he's very, like you said in our discussion with Sean, he's extremely good at his job. Mara's walking out here right now, and her colleague Dory said to me yesterday that he is the most annoying person she's ever met in her life. So.
in time, I could see.
Yes.
That might be the case.
I've been around a lot of people. He is a very unique personality, and he is charming. But he is fun to be around. And I love being around fun people, and he's the ultimate, really.
True.
He's great in very small doses. It's like medication,
I agree.
right? You just take
Yes.
as much as you need, not anymore.
Take a break.
I agree.
So you guys just sold American Pest to Wayne's. Steve, you've had your hands in all sorts of stuff over the years.
I have.
And when I first talked to you, you said, Paul, I think you sold that paper business to Bain Capital. Is that right?
Well, we sold it to Audix,
Okay.
and then Bain took Audix out.
Ah, that's right. Okay.
So I think Bain's the player now. So as you know, they're just rolling it up and selling to the next biggest private equity. So Bain's got it now.
So you were in paper. You were in pest control.
Yes.
The two of you have been married now how long?
7 years.
Okay.
We dated for 5.
And you've stuck around.
I stuck around. Yes.
Although he's 70, he's got a baby face though, right? He's got the
Yes.
50-year-old's face on a 70-year-old's body.
Part of it is I marry young people and hang around younger people,
Yeah.
and it makes you younger. I feel younger.
Yeah.
I do not
You
feel 70
act
years
younger for sure.
Yeah.
You do.
Well, maybe that's why you hang so well with Franco.
Yes.
You know what? To be honest with you, when we did ask him the other day how old he was, and I thought he was 40-ish.
Yeah.
When I found out he was 32, he was much younger than I thought he was.
He's like a woman though. I think he bends the truth. I'm going to have to consult the ID. I'll look that up. I'm going to look in the personnel file.
okay.
I thought he was 34, but yesterday he said 30.
He said 32.
He said 32.
I was shocked because we talked about it. Said I thought he was older than that.
On his first business meeting, actually, with POTOMAC, he was up with the Rent-A-Kill crew in New York, and they were doing a due diligence session, and I called Ron Kamzelski, who is the division president for the whole Northeast there, and I said, it's the Mexican's birthday, you guys should do something for him. He's like, oh, we're gonna do something. So they got like the big cake, the big candles at the diligence meeting, and he's still pissed off about that because he doesn't like anyone celebrating his birthday, so I hear about that.
Okay.
We got him, for that birthday, we got him mugs that said, Mex I can, not Mex I can't. That was his birthday mugs.
That's cute.
Cute.
That's cute.
So you guys met down in Birmingham?
We did. The story on Michelle is I was single for 3 or 4 years before she became single. And so some of the guys I was hanging around with, to give you an example, were you working for Porter at the time the Black Eyed Peas thing came up?
No. That was in the very beginning.
Okay.
I wasn't working. I was a
so
stay-at-home mom.
I lived next door to Bottega that we had dinner with at last night. There's a restaurant. It's a beautiful restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived next door, and so I would go next door and eat fish or salad or something light 3 or 4 nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the go-to place in Birmingham.
Okay.
And it was your kitchen.
Yeah.
He never cooked. I mean, he
And
went
this-
to this
this
restaurant
guy-
every night.
Frank Stitt got James Bearden Award. I mean,
It's
it's a
fantastic.
very fancy.
Okay.
Everybody that's in Birmingham, this is. So I eat there very frequently. I remember sitting down at the bar with a friend, and his name is Porter, and he had some Black Eyed Pea tickets, or I had some Black Eyed Pea tickets. I didn't even know who the Black Eyed Peas were. So he talked about taking, your name came up.
We had met, yes. I tried to fix him up with a friend of mine, and met Porter that night. You weren't interested in Sherry, you were interested in me, and I didn't know that at the time, but then he started texting, and I was like, Steve's too old for me. Yeah, no, not going there. And then you can finish the story. You and Porter were
So we
out
were,
one night.
yeah, and so I forget now. He had Black Eyed Pea tickets. I had Black Eyed Pea tickets. He talked about inviting you, but I said no. I'm inviting Michelle, and that was our first date, wasn't it?
Yes, so
At
you
the
sent me a
Black
text,
Eyed
and I was
Peas
like,
concert.
Yeah, so
I
Black Eyed
really,
Peas.
really want to go to that concert. So that's how you got me that night.
So
how did you end up with tickets? You didn't know who the band was. How did you end up with Black Eyed Peas?
well, I think Porter
Porter
got
had
us
tickets.
all tickets. So he had 4. He gave me 4. I invited her before he could get to her. And did he invite Gia?
Yes, first time I met
So,
Gia.
and he ended up marrying the girl that he took. So Porter is the kind of guy, he's married now. But I was on a mission not to ever get married again. Porter made it very clear he was on a mission. I'm looking for a wife. I'm going to get married. I'm going to find somebody. And I said, well, good luck.
Gotcha.
So he did, finally. But
And
I
you
didn't
did?
want it to be this one.
So that was a very successful concert then. You guys both ended up
I
with
guess so.
brides.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that was going to happen, but it did. So it's been wonderful. So let's see, I'm 70. We've been married 7 years, so 63, and then we dated for 5 years. So
think
I was about
You were
58.
58.
And so she's
I was 41.
young.
It's a baby.
I remember I first talked to you, Steve, some months ago, and you and I had a couple of chats about the pest control business, about Wayne's, about different options, and then you had a conversation with the Mexican, and he's like, I don't understand this Steve guy. Like, he had like a paper business. He's got a pest control business. I think he got a pool business too.
I got a
You
pool business,
Got a
yeah.
pool. You got any other businesses we should know about while you're at
I
it?
got a promotional company business, so
Janitorial.
and we have a cleaning service business, and I got a little construction company going.
So you got all these businesses, and he's like, there's this redneck guy, Steve. He doesn't sound like a redneck, and he's got all sorts of businesses, and he's in Alabama. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So that was the Mexican's initial response to you.
I know. So, the reason I called the Mexican, or he called me, is that I had a guy chasing me several years ago, another private equity called Walnut Grove. I think I sent you an email.
That's right.
So, and I usually, you know how when you own a business, I have many people that email me, call me.
Yep.
But this guy was a little different. He tried to get in touch with me before COVID, so let's call it 2019 or 20. And COVID came, and so he and I never connected. After COVID, so, you know, or during COVID, he called. He wanted to meet with me. I did meet with him. He was interested in rolling up pest control, had missed a few opportunities in our area. This is a Birmingham guy. His name is Hardy Carlson. So I met with Hardy, and when I told him my story about what I was trying to do, I think at that time I'd sold that small book of business to Sean.
Wayne's. Yep.
So he told me, he says, do you know that there's 2 companies in the U.S., that's all they do is broker pest control? And I said, well, who are they? So I write it down. One of them was POTOMAC, and one of them was Tillis, but in California. So whoever your competitor is. So when Hardy left, I called both companies, left a voicemail. My name's Steve Mote. I'm trying to sell a pest control. The other company in California never called back. But the guy that called me back that day or the next day was the guy in Texas. Whoever was the guy
That's right. Patrick Baldwin.
yes. So he called me, told me that he was part of your team. He had sold his company, told me a little bit about what you do. And so there's the connection, and called you. The Mexican called me.
Yep.
And so,
I remember that.
yeah.
So why did you call us to begin with? Like you were already down a path with Wayne's.
Right.
You already had, I think at the time you and I spoke, you'd already had 2 different letters of intent from Sean, right?
Right.
I think.
I had one letter of intent, or at least a verbal. So what my story is, I'd already sold a book of the business,
Yeah.
had already got to know him, and I had access to whatever data they wanted
Yeah.
on the short list. So I furnished all that data and got as much as I could from Sean. And I'd already been coached up by other people, including Eric Fry and other people that were in the industry, telling me about multiples, telling me how, it was a wave. And
Yeah.
the wave. So, it was a perfect time to sell. Anyway, I sat down with you and went as far as I could with Sean. I didn't think it was quite enough. And you and I cut a deal where we kind of protected the investment or the proposal I had. And you said, anything I can get over that dollar, we'll split it.
Yep.
And so it was a no-lose situation for me, and it worked out perfectly. So your company and Franco did a fantastic job putting the deal together, making the numbers real where they would ante up more money for us to sell the company. So it worked out very well.
I'm glad. Michelle, what do you think about him exiting these businesses systematically? Is it time for him to do this?
It's time. He needs to slow down his age. He needs to enjoy what he's built and enjoy life and all these grandchildren. And so I'm so excited that he's made that decision, because I guess when we first got married, I'm not sure, I didn't think you would ever sell, especially the paper company.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I know Steve, the businessman, but what's Steve like on a day-to-day basis? I mean, he's got all these different businesses. Is he running around like crazy?
well, I am his biggest fan, but he truly is the most genuine and generous man I know. He walks into a room, he lights it up. He makes a point to meet everyone in the room and find out, what makes each person ticks.
Yeah.
That carries over into his business, and he handles his employees the same way. He figures out their talents and he puts them in the correct position, and these businesses grow and flourish, and he's very good at that. He's got a talent for that, for sure. So
Yeah, I mean, there's so many deals that I do that when you go into a deal, any deal, is that I don't know who you are initially, but if I spend some time with you and I figure out who you are and what your skill set is, and I'm not perfect, but there's many people that we figure out, you're an outside guy, you're a detailed guy, you're a slob,
Yep.
you're lazy, you're out. And so we just figure out what fits, and there's no hidden agenda. Once I figure out who you are, if you're a villain or you're a problem, well, then you're out. And it's not easy, and it's not fun to sit down and tell people good or bad what's going on, but if they want to hear it, I will tell them, And so it's worked well for me.
But you still have these other businesses, and like Michelle said, she thought you were never going to sell. So you sold the pest control business, you have the other businesses, but I mean, isn't that kind of like sport for you?
It is. It is a challenge, and I these acquisitions, I love. Like I would love, if I was younger, I would love to have Sean's job. I mean, but acquisitions and putting cultures and people together, and I love doing the deal. Now, I'm not really one to do the detail afterwards. I'm a delegator. So it's kind of like selling the pest control. I didn't do anything in the due diligence other than put my finger on a few people. So I'm not a real detailed guy. I just want it to happen and make sure that it comes together from a personality, culture standpoint, and I can help facilitate that.
What do you think what is the next steps for the two of you? What do you guys
She
do?
wants to travel, so
Okay.
we
I
do.
love to travel.
I
So
want to hear about your travel. Where do you want to go?
Tell her where we're going next year.
Greece,
Okay.
which I wanted to see Greece, but I really want to experience a safari. So I'd like to go to Africa. That's huge on the list. We've been a lot of places and seen a lot of the world, but we still have, a lot of places we want to
Yeah.
go. And
Why Greece? Did you watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding? And you're like, let's go
well,
there.
yes, of course, I've seen that.
Sure.
Okay.
But we were, I guess, just Googling, and the Ritz-Carlton yacht collection popped up. It was fairly new, so we checked into that. And, so this is a cruise through the Greek Isles on the yacht. And we couldn't book until 2023. That's how popular it is, I guess. So, yeah, that's kind of how Greece, I guess, happened.
So we're going, and if you can check out those new boats that the Ritz-Carlton has
They're-
created, they're fantastic. Small, maybe a crew of 200,
Yeah.
and passenger of maybe 200. So small, but very nice, and
We're not cruise people, so,
No.
but this boat, yeah.
we're not
it's gonna
catamaran
be-
people either.
Yeah.
So
I have a suggestion for you while you're here. So the Mexicans tried to bamboozle you to going on his boat tomorrow, which I'm sure will be a spectacular experience. However, here in Puerto Rico, we have Dorado Beach. It's the Ritz-Carlton Reserve. It's 35 minutes from San Juan. It is one of their only 7-star resorts on the planet. It sits within what's called the Dorado Beach Club, which is a country club. It's got 3 golf courses, tennis courts. It's got Dylan was just there the other day with me. The fitness center is kind of like an Apple store of fitness. It's like this glass box in a tropical rainforest. There's spectacular restaurants. Why don't you guys skip the boat and go to Dorado?
Ooh.
you want me to make the Mexican mad?
He always says,
Is the Mexican here?
he's somewhere back there. Every time somebody comes down to Puerto Rico, so I'm a member of the Dorado Beach Club. And the Mexican likes to break my balls because during COVID, I had to pay the initiation fee, and I paid the monthly fee and all that because I'm a member. And during COVID, they made it immediate family members only, so I couldn't bring business colleagues down there. And I never used it. My wife pressured me into joining this when we first moved here, and she's been there like 5 times since. So I largely just use it for business. And Mexican doesn't like it. His parents live in Dorado, so he kind of grew up going there every weekend, and it's boring. It's like a tropical rainforest on the ocean, and it's just like white sand and nice drinks, and who wants any of that stuff? But it's great.
I do.
So, yes. So I think tomorrow, you should skip the boat and do the Dorado Beach Club.
Well, we'll talk about that. We got one full day before we're out of here on Thursday, so we want to make the most of it.
As a matter of fact, if the Mexican won't do it, I'll take you guys out there.
Okay.
All right.
You guys will understand everything I'm saying. You'll have some nice drinks. It'll be great.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Fantastic.
so, Steve, what are some of the most important lessons you've learned as a businessman over the years?
Well, one of the things that you have to do, whether it's a relationship with your wife, your children, or your business, you got to spend time there. And you just got to open up and listen to your people and figure out who's who. And so I've got a knack for that. And so it takes a while to do that. I know many of the acquisitions I go through, kind of like what Sean did. Sean and his staff in front of my people, after I told them my story, he did a fantastic job smoothing over an awkward situation where I had 25 people look like deer in the headlights watching Sean, wondering what's next, why did you do this, what's going to happen. I've been in that situation many times, and I make it very clear, just like Sean did. Give me a few weeks, a few months to get to know you, and we'll figure this out together. And Sean is going to do a great job doing that. And he's the perfect guy, especially in Alabama, to go through and grow and communicate and tuck in or whatever they're going to do. As I've gotten to know him, Eric Fry was very impressive. And I asked Eric about Sean. I said, who is this Sean guy? Can he do it? And Eric made it very clear. He says, I know Sean, and he can do it, and he can. So as I've gotten to know Sean, he's very good at what he does.
So Michelle, does Steve put his money where his mouth is? Does he listen as much at home as he does in the business realm?
He does. He does. He really does.
She is so loving and supportive. And I am super generous. Tip too much, give away too much. But I'm in the fourth quarter, so I'm good with trying to make sure I take care of her. Mm-hmm. My kids are going to be well taken care of. Mm-hmm. And she's on me at times saying, you don't have to do that. Don't tip so much. You spoiled your kids rotten than I have, but I've spoiled myself and her.
You have.
And everybody I can spoil, I'm going to spoil them. So.
Well, what was your, if we go back 55 years, what was, you're growing up in Alabama.
My deal, I was born, my father was a wonderful father, wonderful parents, wonderful family, mm-hmm. but had no money. I mean, I was raised with nothing. And so we had to work on our own car, change our own oil, change our own brakes. Mm-hmm. When I was 16, instead of playing a lot of sports, I had to go to work and work at Walmart sweeping floors. And so I just always aspired to be something somehow. But I'm not as smart as Franco, if it's the truth. Franco said—
But you have social skills. That's the difference.
I had two things, social skills from my mother and a drive to be successful. Mm-hmm. Did Franco graduate from college in 3 years, like he said?
That's what he says.
With straight A's?
I've never verified that,
okay.
But that's what he says.
So that's a gift. If he did that, if he's that gifted, I don't have that skill set. So I just outdo everybody with who I am and the drive that I have to be successful. So if you got the smarts and then you don't have the drive, it's frustrating to me, because when I get in a room and I see that you don't have the drive, it makes me so angry that you don't have the drive to get up and make it happen when they're capable. I mean, there's so many people that are so capable and just don't do it.
I have neither the smarts nor the drive, so I'm okay.
Not true.
How'd you start your career off?
So when I moved from Florida to Mobile to Birmingham, when I moved to Birmingham to finish school, because I was determined, I was the only child that got through college. So
you actually moved to Alabama?
Yeah, well, born in Alabama, only 1 year. Fort Lauderdale, Gainesville, Birmingham, Mobile, high school, college, back to Birmingham.
I'm surprised you can read and write after all that.
I know.
So when I moved to Birmingham, I didn't know anybody. I mean, I didn't go to high school here. I didn't go to college there. Finished up college eventually. But so when I went up there, I got in the newspaper and went in the want ads that people don't even use anymore, and went and got a job washing trucks with a pressure washer for $3.50 an hour. So met this guy, worked for this guy. I was his labor. And after 6 months, I came to my father, who was super conservative and didn't have any money. And I said, Dad, if you will loan me $600 and let me buy this pressure washer, I can do what this guy does even better.
Yep.
So he did. He loaned me $600. I bought a pressure washer, started my own business, and paid that pressure washer off in a month or two and never looked back. I remember going through and starting my business in college and graduating in college and interviewing, and a guy I met said, hey, I love who you are, and I want to start you as a first-line supervisor for $18,000 a year in 1975. Thank you very much, but I can't accept that. So I've never looked back, but given my personality and given, who I am and what I am, a true entrepreneur, I can't work for corporate America.
Yeah.
Like my son, who I sold out to Bain, mm-hmm. him and his emails and webinars and training and traveling and the hierarchy that he's got to go through is not me. I cannot do what he does. So luckily, I'm out. And Steven's running the business. They love him. And Sean, he's working for corporate America, but Sean has done a good job making Waynes feel local and
Yeah.
family-like. You know, his personality kind of dictates that. It's kind of like he said while he was waiting to come here, is he said, well, what if they want to elevate you and take you up the ladder? He said, I'm not moving.
Doesn't want to do it.
So, and I feel the same way. I'd be just like Sean. You're not moving me to New Jersey.
When's the Greece departure?
September 23.
So nothing between now and then? No significant travel?
Oh, Hawaii. We might be going to Hawaii.
We are. Yeah, in that pool business, I just joined a group, a buying group.
Mm-hmm.
And the buying group is a consortium. So instead of me at Hollywood Pools, you know, it's 100, 200 companies
Yep.
that pool there and kind of leverage who they are. So we got to go to Hawaii. I'm going to be introduced as the new member. And so,
I guess a quick side question is, how the heck did you get into a pool business? You're basically servicing pools, right? You send out some sort of a technician that does pool maintenance? Is that what it is?
So the pool, in the business that I started, remember the pressure washer,
Mm-hmm.
and I started that, ended up buying the janitorial business, ended up buying paper distribution.
Yep.
So within that company, years ago, my youngest brother, Philip, we used to wash trucks. He used to be my laborer. So he used to be the guy I paid $3.50 an hour to.
Mm-hmm.
So as we grew up in business, I'm the oldest. He needed to get away from me because I had him under my thumb like a daddy. So I taught him a lot, but he says, I want to do my own. So he started his own business, and I was with him today. We bought Hollywood Pools for him.
Got it.
So, and I remember him struggling and wanted a partner. I said, Philip, if you want a partner, I'll be your partner, but don't bring an outside guy in here.
Yep.
Not many partnerships work. There's always a dominant guy that ends up, you know, trying to take out the other guy. And but Philip passed away at 44, lung cancer. So as he passed away, Larry and I, my other brother, bought Philip's estate out. So we just wanted to keep it in the family. So we gone from, when we bought that company, it was $100,000 a year, nothing. And we did about 5 or 6 million this past year.
How long have you owned it?
Philip bought it in the 80s. Philip passed away 20 years ago. Philip died, it was doing $1 million. And since Larry and I bought it, we've taken it to 5 or 6 million.
Got it.
We manage about 500 pools in Birmingham. Reoccurring revenue. Sean loves that word.
Yeah, he loves it. Well, I appreciate you guys coming down to PR. It's great to finally meet you both in person. And after our discussion today, I'm going to have a conversation with the Mexican about Dorado rather than the beach, because it's my strong suggestion. So we'll see what we can
Sounds
do.
very nice.
Okay, well, don't hurt Franco's feelings.
You think his feelings could possibly be hurt?
I don't know. He's probably more sensitive than we give him credit for.
Yeah, he probably is. You're right.
So,
Well,
but we're
thank
easy.
you.
We just want to
Yes.
make the best of the last day, and we've never been here, and we've been pretty busy with Franco the last 2 or 3 days.
I'm sorry.
No, but it's all good.
Thank you for having us. I mean, it has been a beautiful trip, beautiful weather. Yeah.
There's no way I can't bring you to Dorado then.
Okay.
You guys will love it. Yeah. We'll do that tomorrow.
Cool.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you, Paul.
You're welcome,
It's
guys.
been wonderful.